Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandor Gaming, and this is a video that has been long in the making. All the brand new structure deck cards have been revealed for all 6 leaders, and now we can finally discuss the winners and losers of the One Piece structure deck metagame. So if you don't know, we are getting 6 brand new structure decks at the end of OP08 in the form of a green Uta structure deck, a black Smoker structure deck, a yellow Katakuri structure deck, a purple Luffy structure deck, a red Edward Newgate structure deck, and of course blue Dolphy structure deck. All 6 of these leaders are getting 5 new cards of support, plus a whole bunch of really nice reprints. Desperately, each archetype needs these because a lot of these cards either have promos that are locked behind tournaments, or they just have cards that haven't been reprinted since OP08, or just starter decks all the way back in the beginning of the game. Thus, all these decks need some love, and all these decks need some support. So, let's talk about the winners and losers of each archetype. So, to be honest with you, all 6 leaders definitely gain something. No leader is truly a loser per se, but there's definitely a clear mark on which leaders got definitely like God's gifted plan, and which leaders were given like 1 or 2 cards, and then like the rest of it's just like pack filler. Like there's definitely wins for every archetype here, but there's definitely like, oh, all 5 of these cards are busted too. Hey, you got like 2 or 3 cards that are okay, and everything else is kind of ass. So let's talk about it. First things first, we're going to start with, I think, which lost. I think Downright had the worst support, that being Purple Luffy. When it comes to all the new structure deck cards, I think they only had 2 or 3 that are actually playable and actually like decently good. Let's talk about the good cards. First things first, 7 cost Monkey D. Luffy, minus a Dawn to play a 5 cost or lower Straw Hat that is purple from your hand onto the field. That's a pretty good effect. It's basically the purple version of Ivanka, who could play an Impel Down card, but instead you minus a Dawn. Also, it only allows you to summon out purple Straw Hats, which really suck, because most likely this card can be played. I know it's for the purple Luffy structure deck, but most likely all the support I was hoping to play in the red purple Luffy structure. Thus, really, it stops you from playing a card like, let's say, 5k Rush Luffy with this Luffy. But I guess there's some new cards that makes it decent. The purple Straw Hat's just never been that good. We got a whole bunch of them that came out in OP05, but none of them are just enough to push the deck over the edge. But with this new support, it's interesting. I'll give you that. Let's also talk about the other new card, that being this Zoro. He's a 4K 6,000 that adds a Straw Hat from deck to hand. That's really solid. It has no counter though, so it has some pluses and minuses. Don't get me wrong, a 4 cost 6K that searches is probably an insane concept. My only issue is that because he has no counter, that could be definitely very scary for you as a player. But who knows? Maybe it's fine that he doesn't have a counter. I don't know how many you will be playing of him, but overall he's pretty decent. The Sanji's a 5 cost 6k that on play, if you have 8 or more Dawn, draws you a card, which is cool and all, but we have better 6ks, and like we have just better characters for this level aspect. Like we have King, we have just like 20 other different cards that we rather play, like Queen, and there's all these other like really essential 5 to 6 cost characters that I think this Sanji that just requires you to have 8 or more Dawn already, and then all it does is draw you 1, it's alright. I think the Nami is just not good. It's a 4 cost blocker with like really weak attack that says trash a card from hand to draw 2, but you can only do it when you have 8 or more Dawn, which is the whole concept that all the Straw Hat cards all have. I think that's cool and all, but getting to the 8 or Dawn part really sucks. Plus, it's a really expensive blocker. I mean, like, it's a 4 cost, really weenie blocker. Like, why is this thing such low attack? Law doesn't even need to reduce its cost to bomb deck this bitch. Like, that's just ass. Why are we spending $4 on a blocker that doesn't have at least a good attack stat? And then finally, we have the Usopp, which is a new 2K. I think it's better than the other Usopp, so I think that's a plus. But ultimately, I think it's okay at best. It does get the rest of the character on play, so hey, if you're going to push for game, it is a 3-cost 2K that like rests as a card. That's pretty solid. So overall, I think the purple Luffy cards have potential, but when it comes to like the cards we get from the other structure decks, it's definitely the one that has the most lacking. The next structure deck that I have to say out of the 6 that has some definitely good stuff, but definitely is a little lacking, I would have to... This is a toss-up, because I have my clear winner, and I'm just trying to think of which order I'm going to put them in. I would have to say Yellow Katakuri, but that doesn't sound right, because Katakuri got 5 new cards, and one of them is just completely bonkers out of its mind. The new Big Mom that like literally forces your opponent to either trash 2 cards in hand or trash a life is absolutely insane for a 6 cost. Not to mention, with that support, we also got, of course, the new Cracker, which is pretty decent. I wish it had counter, but it doesn't. But it's still pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else came out in the Big Mom structure deck. We got some interesting new cards. I don't think the Pudding's good. We got a new Pudding that's like restands a 3 or less Big Mom Pirates card. If it restand a 7 to it's called 3 or higher card, I would say it's insane because you can restand 10 drop and keep swinging with it. But it restands 3 or less. It's not that great. I guess you can restand like a pair of Sparrow or something and swing with it again. But I don't know. I don't think that's that good. And then the other final cards, they're pretty strong, I think. Like, I definitely think Yellow definitely did not come out as a loser, especially with this 6-cost Big Mom. This 6-cost Big Mom is just absolutely horrifying. But I think the Pudding that we get... of course, we gotta talk about the new Brulee. The Brulee is actually really, really solid as a trigger card. It's a really great trigger, plus it's just a decent 2K. But Yellow is already filled with, like, some of the best 2K triggers in the game. And I don't know if it competes with the other 2K triggers that we're already playing. I guess it's better than others. It's just like, it's a really good trigger, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's competing with just stopping a character from swinging for a turn. I don't know. You all have to tell me in the comments. But overall, I think Katakuri definitely got some new cards. I definitely think the new 6-cost Big Mom is very, very horrifying, and I'm not looking forward to playing against that. But besides that, I don't think any of the other new cards really push the ceiling of the deck. So I think it's definitely a winner, but not as good as the other ones. The next one we gotta talk about is Smoker. I think Smoker definitely got some really good cards in general. I think his best card, of course, is the Tashigi that was first revealed. This new Tashigi that's a 5-cost is really, really solid. And I do love that this card is locked into Smoker. Thus, the other black decks don't get their greedy little hands on it. So you don't have to worry about Gecko Moria, Rob Lucci, Rip Sakazuki players from playing this card. But at the same time, I feel like that's the best card they got. The other interesting black cards are interesting, like the Garp, that's a blocker that like every turn gives a rest. You shuffle back a trash card to give -1 Dawn to a character. That one's kind of cool. The new 6-cost character that's like, hey, if you can like put a Rested Dawn onto a character and do some things like that. Also, it becomes an 8-cost if you put a Dawn on it, which basically says, hey, it's hard to get removed from other black decks, which is cool. I don't know. There's some interesting new cards when it comes to black. I think I'm going to change the order, just because of how impressive that Big Mom is. I think I'm going to go Luffy, or Purple Luffy, for the bottom. Smoker for 5. And then I'm going to go Katakuri for 3rd. And right in the middle, because that Big Mom... I feel like that's the only card they really needed, and that card's absolutely cracked out of its mind. So honestly, yeah, I think that Big Mom kind of pushes it over the edge of being better than the Smoker support, even though the new Tashigi is really, really good. Next leader that we gotta talk about, we have 3 more to go because there's 6. I would definitely say, I think Whitebeard comes out as our 3rd place, middle of the road. I think his support is actually really, really solid. Basically, I think every card is playable but 1. Arguably 2. There's an argument that the blocker isn't that good, but I like the blocker because there's a lot of removal in this game. Basically saying, hey, if you remove him, my Whitebeard becomes an 8K for the turn, meaning you can't swing at board, which is, you can't swing at face, really. You have to go for board, which is kind of terrifying, so I actually like the new blocker. The new Rush Ace is actually really solid, too. I think that guy's amazing. I think the new 7-cost Whitebeard is cracked out of its mind. The fact that it just rested itself to KO a 5 cost is just, well, it KOs 5,000 power. Let's get that correct. 5,000 power. It's just absolutely insane. And I really like the new Thatch that's like an in-archetype Otama now. Like, we don't have to play Otama. We can just play this guy because it's a Whitebeard pirate that's searchable. That's why I really like that. We don't have to, like, play the Otama that was a non-searchable 2K. We have now a searchable 2K that gives minus 2,000 power. I think the only card that's lacking is the when attacking, make sure you don't lose a life guy. I forgot what pirate he is. I think that's the only card that's actually asked for Whitebeard. Just because of how fast the game is, this guy's never sticking on board as a 4-cost 5K. He's going to get reduced costs and get either killed with black effects, or he's going to get killed with red, purple law. And overall, he's just not a good card. But everything else in the Whitebeard structure deck is really, really good and very, very terrifying. Next structure deck that I think is the second best structure deck out of the 6 has to be Green Uta. I think every card we got in this structure deck is actually replacing a card in the Uta Green structure deck. Like, no joke, the current Uta build, we just got slightly better versions of every card that was a little lacking already. For example, the new 3-cost Katakuri that becomes a 6K, we have 6 Dawn rested on field. That's basically just a better Usopp. It replaces Usopp in the deck. If you're still playing the 3-cost vanilla Usopp, you no longer have to play that. You can just play Katakuri. Tony Toy Chopper, that blocker, that 2K, we don't need to play the Tony Toy Chopper anymore because we got a better 2K now. We just got the brand new 2-cost blocker in the form of the CP0 agent, Bruno. We got a replacement for that in the form of the musical manager dude. He's just a better 2-cost blocker. He's not a vanilla. So that's already better there. I think the new 9-cost Shanks as removal is just really, really solid for green. I know a lot of people are shitting on it because it only kills rested characters, but green's whole gimmick is resting shit. So I actually think that new Shanks is actually fire. And then finally, the last new card they got. What was the last new card they got? Let's see. It was the Bruno that got replaced. It's the new 4-cost 6K Uta. I don't know if we're playing her. I think we are. Because she's basically just a better version of the vanilla Zoro. So I think she is better. I wish she had counter. She would be absolutely insane. It's just a 4-cost 6K blocker with counter. But she doesn't have counter. Thus, she's not as good as she could be. But I think overall, I think we're still playing her over the Zoro. Thus, I think all 5 cards have a new... You don't have to play any vanillas in Green Uta anymore, which is really, really nice. All the film cards we have in the deck that are monsters all have effects, even if they're not the greatest effects in the world, which is really, really solid. Overall, I'm really happy with the Green Uta structure deck. Not to mention they're reprinting all of the new promo cards that were made unavailable to us if you never went to a tournament. So I'm also really happy about that. And then finally, let's talk about the elephant in the room being Blue Dolphy, who Bandai just loves all of a sudden. OP07 gave us amazing new cards in the form of Jinbei and all the new 2Ks that helped fix the deck's ability to counter out of stuff and spam them forward really, really well. And then they're like, look, man, we're just going to give you all the love. All 5 new Blue Dolphy cards are just absolutely busted out of their mind. The new Boa Hancock, that's a 4-cost 6K, no counter, literally on play, stacks the top 3 cards of your deck, and then gives a Rested Dawn to your leader. This is what the green Ulti card should have been. The 4 cost 6k. This effect should have been on her, because this blue boa is just absolutely insane and just really, really good. This card's immediately replacing Gecko Moria in the list. We are not playing Gecko Moria anymore. The 4 cost 6k vanilla. We do not need to play that anymore. This card's just way better. It doesn't have counter, which sucks, but who cares? It's just a better card. The new Blackbeard is just really, really insane. It's a 2 cost 3k, 1000 counter that literally says on play, give 2 Rested Dawn to your leader or character, and then basically allows you to stack the top card of your deck by putting a card from your hand on top of your deck, allowing you to instantly play whatever you need off leader ability. You don't even need to stack your deck anymore, because this Blackbeard literally is putting the card you want from your hand on top of deck, so you can do leader ability for free, which is absolutely incredible and really, really good. The new Buggity Clown replaces Boa. Not Boa, Bonnie. We do not need to play, it's not even Bonnie, it's Perona. Good God, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying today. We do not need to play Perona anymore. With the Boa that stacks our deck, and now, of course, this 2k Buggity Clown that looks at top 3. It is just a better Perona in every way. Yes, it doesn't look at the top 5, which sucks, but this card but the Buggy looks at the top 3. It's playable off leader ability, and it's a 2k. It's just another 2k the deck has access to. With this card, we have now 4 Buggity Clowns, 4 Dracula Mihawks, 4 Crocodiles, and 4 Trafalgar Laws. All 4 of these guys are 2ks. That is 16 2ks in Archetype that we can play for free, which is absolutely incredible. The next card we gotta talk about, of course, is the new Trafalgar Law. 4 cost, 5k, 1000 counter that literally says on play, return a card from the field back to hand to then bounce back a 4 cost on your opponent's field. Basically saying, oh, you have a card that you want to put back to hand in order to basically remove a card. Oh, let me put back this pudding that after I pudding you for like 7 cards from your hand, let me rebounce the pudding back to my hand for more counter. Also, so I can re-pudding you again on the next turn. That is absolutely busted. Another card this card can bounce back is our lovely Buggity Clown, who already just stacked the top 3 cards of our deck, is also a 2k. It also can bounce back our Jinbei. Let's say we play Jinbei off leader ability, and now he's rested. Or we can play this law, bounce back to Jinbei, so we can read Jinbei the next turn, and literally bounce back one of their cards. We out-tempo them. And that is just really, really insane. There's so many other targets that this law can bounce back that will be net positive for us and net negative for our opponents. So this law is just going to be a must-have 4 of. Bouncing, it's basically let's call it shambles on a monster that can be played off leader effect. Think about that. It's literally like, I was making a big deal about OP08 because we're getting Jozu, and Jozu's whole gimmick is that he basically does what this law does, where he bounces back a card we control to like bounce back, I think, a 4 or less from your opponent's field back to hand. Well, this guy's an in-archetype Jozu now. We don't need to play Jozu anymore. Or if we are still playing Jozu in OP08, that means we can play Jozu and this law and bounce back 2 dudes. On our 10 Dawn turn, or let's say, because I think the Jozu is like a 5 cost, on our 8 Dawn turn, we could Jozu, bounce back a card, use leader effect, play this law, bounce back either the Jozu or some other monster we have on field, back to hand, and then bounce back another card our opponent controls, and put up just a whole bunch of value on our monsters on our field, and just clear their field. That is absolutely stupid. It's cracked out of its mind, and I absolutely love it. I think Blue Dolphy is in a great spot. And that's not even all the cards. I went over the Boa. I went over the Buggy. I went over the Blackbeard. I went over the Law. I still got to go over the brand new Crocodile that filters our hand. This new Crocodile draws, I think it draws 2, puts 1 back on top of deck on play. It's a 4 cost 5k, which is really, really insane. So it basically stacks our deck and refreshes our hand. So let's say we have a whole bunch of cards we don't really want to have counter. We want counter. We can play out the this Crocodile, filter our hand, then use leader ability to play what we need. Like, there's so many stacking on the top of our deck. It's ridiculous now. I think Blue Dolphy has potential with this new support to be the best deck in OP08, at least post OP08, because all the new supports technically post OP08, but it's still OP08 format. So yeah, Blue Dolphy, MVP of the brand new structure decks, and I can't wait to see more support. So hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid, and I'll see you all next one. Bye bye.